everybody, I am Miss Sandy from Hope Choice with our Reach for Greatness program, and I am so glad to be with you today to present another one of our Reach for Greatness lessons. What we are talking about today is grit. And if you're on the other side of that screen, I want you to interact with me a little bit. So if I ask you to say something or repeat something, go ahead and talk to the screen. Pretend like I'm right in front of you in the same room. So say grit. Good job. Now the way that you say grit or perseverance is the same word in sign language is like this. So let me see you do that. Say grit. So our big takeaway for today is that I have grit and I won't quit. Let's try that together. I have grit and I won't quit. Very good. Now, talking about grit and perseverance, it's such an important thing that we need to have right now with everything that's going on in our world. And I know that you guys have grit and you have perseverance, and that is going to help us push through this difficult time that all of us are facing right now. Grit really means that you have the ability to overcome and continue to work towards a goal, even if you have challenges or obstacles that are in your way. If you have grit, you're going to be able to overcome those challenges. So like I said earlier, another word for grit is perseverance. Let me hear you say that word, perseverance. Good job. You know, as a believer in Jesus, if you believe in Jesus, He wants you to have perseverance. He wants you to have grit. And the Bible has a lot to say about grit and perseverance. In the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, let me read this to you. It says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." So as a Christ follower, we need to have a persevering, determined spirit because Jesus desires for us to continue to reach the goals that He has set for us. You know, in Reach for Greatness, we tell you with every lesson that we believe at Hope Choice that you were born on purpose, for a purpose, and that you are called to greatness. And so you do need grit and perseverance to overcome obstacles so that you can be the best you that you are created to be. So to help demonstrate this idea of grit and perseverance, we're going to watch a video together. This is a short cartoon called Ormy, and Ormy is a pig. And we're going to see if Ormy has grit and perseverance. So what'd you think about that video? Ormy makes me laugh so much, but I really think that he has grit and he's not gonna quit. So let's say that out loud together again. Say, I have grit and I won't quit. So now let me hear you say, what do you think Ormy's goal was? That's right, he wanted to get that cookie. Those must have been some really, really good tasting cookies. So he wanted to get the cookie, but then what happened? Yeah, so he had to use some strategies to try to get that cookie. I saw that he jumped out of an airplane. He used plungers to try to get that cookie. All kinds of different things. Say it out to me. What else did you see him do? That's right. Now, at the very end of the video, he finally got the cookie in his hand. I was so excited for him. But then what happened? The jar went over his head and he couldn't eat the cookie. So let's brainstorm. What are some strategies that he can use to be able to reach his goal, which was to eat that cookie, even though he has that jar on his head? What do you think? Yeah, maybe he could use that plunger and suction cup it to the glass jar and pull it off of his head. That might work. What else could he do? Maybe he could put butter all around his neck and then it would make it slippery and he could pop the jar right off. What's another one he could do? Yeah, maybe he could just ask for help. There's usually always someone that is willing to help you reach your goal. Well, Ormy had grit. I know you can have grit as well. So I have a little poster here that has the word grit on it. G-R-I-T. And every letter of grit is going to stand for something to help you really understand it and help you remember how to have grit and perseverance in your life. So let's talk about this first letter, G. The G stands for give it my all. Can you say that out loud? Give it my all. Good job. So when we give it our all, it means that we are doing our very best. Was Ormy doing his very best? Yeah, I think he was. You know, the Bible has something to say about this too. In Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, it says that whatever you do, work at it with your whole heart, as though you were working for the Lord and not for people. Boy, that gives me motivation to have grit and perseverance in my life, not just to reach my goals, but to do what Jesus has called me to do. And he has called you to do something also. Our next letter in grit is R. R stands for remember to persevere. Can you say that out loud? Remember to persevere. Good job. Perseverance is the drive that helps you to keep on working even when you feel like quitting. You know, in that video of Ormy, did you notice towards the end, he was getting a little frustrated. And there was one point where he stomped his foot and he kind of did this and he looked up to the ceiling, kind of went, ah! And then he fell back against the refrigerator. I think he was maybe wanting to quit for just a little bit. And that can happen. That's happened to me lots of times. You feel like you're trying and trying and trying, and you may get to a point where you're just ready to give up. But if you're going to have grit and perseverance, it means that you're not going to give up. You're going to keep on going. You're going to have that drive to try and try again. The Bible has something to say about this also. In Luke chapter 21, verse 19, it says to stand firm, for you will win in life. Wow, isn't that good news? Stand firm and you will win in life. That gives me so much hope. All right, let's move on to our next letter in grit. It's the I. And this one says, if I fail, I will try again. Let me hear you say that. If I fail, I will try again. Good job. Now, when we are getting to a point in this journey of whatever you're trying to accomplish, and you want to fail like I was just talking about, we can pray. And we can ask God to help us because he didn't give up. Imagine if Jesus decided to just give up instead of actually pushing through to accomplish all that he was called to do. He was called to come to this earth and then die on the cross for us. What if he decided he just wanted to give up? We can't give up either. I'm so thankful that Jesus didn't give up on his goal. He doesn't give up on us, and he doesn't want us to give up on what we need to do. So we can pray and ask God that we will have the desire to continue to try. So the Bible in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we don't give up." So that means if we don't give up and we keep trying, then we'll be able to reach that goal. So we have one more letter in grit. Let's move on to T. The T stands for trust that I can do it. Let me hear you say that. Trust that I can do it. Believe in yourself. Have confidence in God. Trust him with your whole heart. Trust him that he has given you the ability and the gifts and the talents to accomplish everything that he is calling you to do. You can achieve your goals. I believe in you. In the Bible, the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5 and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." What a beautiful promise that is from the Lord. So let me tell you a little story to help illustrate grit, and maybe you'll be able to identify with this. Think about learning how to tie your shoe. I remember I was probably in first grade when I was really trying to learn how to tie my shoe, and my mom had shown me lots of different ways to do it, and I had tried different ways, but I just couldn't get it. And one day I got so frustrated, I stomped my feet and I said, "Forget it. I'm not going to learn how to tie my shoes. Mom, just buy me shoes that slip on or have Velcro." Well, she didn't do that. She encouraged me to not give up. It was just going to take a little bit of practice to try and try again. And I'm so glad that she encouraged me to have grit and to have perseverance. Because how silly would it be if, as a grown-up, Miss Sandy had to go to someone and say, "Hey, can you tie my shoes for today? Because I just never learned. I gave up on it." That would be really silly. So let's see if you can think of something that maybe you want to try. Maybe it's something that you've tried in the past and you didn't do very good and you want to try again, but you're just not sure if you're going to be able to do it. Maybe it's something brand new. Maybe it's something creative. Maybe it's something with school. There are so many things that are available for you to try, but you've just got to have the determination, the grit to do it. So think in your mind right now, what could that be that you want to try? Maybe you need to be a better reader. Maybe you need to work out a difficult math problem. Maybe it's reaching the next level on a video game. Whatever it is, there's always more that you can accomplish. God is always calling us to a higher purpose. So let's say again, I have grit and I won't quit. Well, here at Hope Choice, we are so thankful that we get to present these lessons. I hope that it does give you hope, and I hope that it does give you a determination that you want to accomplish something new. So the most important thing that we want you to know is that you need to have Jesus as your Savior, and he is giving us a free gift of salvation. So if you have messed up, you have sinned, we all have sinned and fallen short. All we have to do is receive this salvation from Jesus. And it's as easy as saying out loud, "God, I'm a sinner. Please forgive me. I receive your forgiveness, and I want you, Jesus, to be my personal Savior. I give you my life, and I want you to come in and live inside of my heart, and I want to follow you all the days of my life." If you want to say a prayer like that, I'm so proud of you. And what I want you to do now is go and talk to your parents about this decision. And if you and your parents want to call us, if you have any questions about anything that we have taught today, or about you want to know more about salvation and about Jesus, please just call us and we will be glad to talk with you and to pray with you. So our phone number here at Hope Choice is 806-350-7584, and just ask for anyone in the mentoring department. I am so very proud of you. And let's end by saying our big focus point all together. I have grit and I won't quit. Here we go. I have grit and I won't quit.